Well, you were Baltimore City State's attorney, so you were doing your job, and then it took a shift. When did it start taking a shift? When did the government start attacking you, and for what reason?
So when I became the state's attorney, I was the youngest chief prosecutor of any major American city in the country. I won at the age of 34. And so 5 months into my first term, a young black man by the name of Freddie Carlos Gray Jr. was killed in the custody of police when he was unconstitutionally arrested, placed into a metal wagon, head first, feet shackled, and handcuffed. And his pleas for medical attention were ignored. I followed the facts with the law. I wouldn't do anything differently, but I charged those police officers. And at that time, I was one of the first prosecutors in the country to attempt to hold police officers accountable for the death of a black man. And so that wasn't happening in this country. And so it immediately came with a great deal of backlash. You know, I got hate mail and death threats, but that's when they started to come for my law license. They were trying to, do whatever they could to break me. And what we learned out of that case, those officers were acquitted. In my opinion, the police department sabotaged the case. So in 2016, when I dismissed it, we put out a slate of police accountability reform proposals that were subsequently adopted nationally after George Floyd. You can go on record and you can see those same sort of proposals. But we also learned our lessons in that during my tenure, we then subsequently prosecuted 33 police officers successfully, right?
So not just, you didn't go after just the Freddie Gray police officers, 33 other police officers successfully.
Anybody that preyed upon the vulnerabilities of the citizens of Baltimore had to deal with my office. I knew people were going to come for me. I just didn't think that they were going to use this system against me in a way in which I would be wrongly convicted and face the same sort of reality as all of those exonerees.
So this is the indictment that happened in 2022. That was the first time they came for you?
For 5 years, they had been investigating every aspect of my life. So like they combed my taxes, my charitable donations, my campaign contributions. They went to my children's dance instructors. They were sending the FBI to my neighbors' homes at 5 a.m. And so I understood that it was coming, but I still knew that I had done nothing wrong. And so to then have, all of that be public, and the feds, when they're investigating you, typically you don't know it until you're indicted. They made it very public because they wanted to create this narrative that I was somehow a villain and corrupt. And so I was shocked when they came back and they indicted me of withdrawing my own money, the money that I put away every 2 weeks out of my retirement savings.
The Baltimore Deferred Compensation Retirement Account.
And made it out to be as if I was utilizing PPP loans or COVID relief funding, right? Like, no, this is literally my money. And what I was told was that I could access my money. What the government put on the stand is that David Randall, who's the executive director for the Deferred Compensation Fund for Baltimore City, he said all you needed to do was suffer a $50 adversity and you could access your money. 739 people in the city of Baltimore did the exact same thing that I did. And I'm the only person in America that has now been targeted, prosecuted, and convicted of doing this and facing 40 years in jail.
I don't know if you know this part, but it's actually United States overall, 35,000 people did the same thing, withdrawing from their retirement accounts. None of them were prosecuted either.
So what's the call to action? What do we need people to do?
We need people to sign this petition.
Where is it?
It's on justiceformarilynmosby.com. The petition is calling on President Biden to issue a pardon, to do the right thing, because sometimes even good people need to be called to account and to be asked to do the right thing. So we'll keep doing it.
We can debate if he's good or not, but go ahead.
Leonard, not today. Not on this. Not in the call to action. And I think the other thing that's important for people to do is to spread the word. Talk about this case. If you know that this is ridiculous, that someone is facing 40 years in prison, one, for something they didn't do, but especially something around withdrawing money from their own retirement account, speak up, because if we don't, it could happen to any of us. That is the point. So I think those are the two calls to action for those who are listening.
What's the website again?
justiceformarilynmosby.com. Sign that pardon petition, and also make sure that you're sharing this story.